So we will go forward now with number 1, COVID-19, discussion and action on measures to mitigate impacts of COVID-19 pandemic. Diana.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's great to be back in the council chambers. So I'm going to kind of give you an update on the 2 orders that Dr. Liu released last Friday on May 1st that went into effect yesterday, May 4th. The 2 orders are related to one, to continue to limit activities to reduce the spread of COVID-19, and the second order is to direct persons to wear face coverings with exceptions and exemptions specified. So in big, bold, red letters, right at the beginning of the order to reduce the spread, it states that all persons are still required to comply with the executive orders of the governor and the orders of the state public health officer. It also discusses non-pharmacologic interventions, which include maintaining social distancing of 6 feet or more from another individual as much as feasible, and when social distancing is not achievable, wear a facial covering. Practice good hygiene, regular cleaning of high-use surfaces and not touching our faces, and then stay home when you have symptoms associated with COVID-19. The order also moves away from essential and non-essential business designations, and risk assessment is based upon contact intensity and number of contacts per a Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security guidance, which provides a tabulation of categories of businesses based on low, medium, and high risk. Higher risk businesses that are allowed to remain open include governmental operations, healthcare operations, public transit, and childcare facilities. And then lower risk businesses that are allowed to open with appropriate modifications include restaurants, provided that the dine-in customers shall be limited to only household members per table. Salons, spas, tattoo parlors, and other personal care services, provided that the interaction is less than 30 minutes. Retailers, shopping malls, gyms, fitness studios, non-contact school sports, parks, walking paths, trails, dog parks, athletic fields, and other outdoor congregate settings, playgrounds, libraries, construction, real estate, and agriculture. And the construction, real estate, and agriculture are asterisked because these businesses were not specifically noted in the Johns Hopkins guidance. So there's an operations protocol that these lower risk businesses are supposed to fill out and place near their front entry. And through it, it's a checklist of items to protect staff health, ensure physical distancing, prevent unnecessary contact, increase sanitation, and also discuss signage that should be in place. There's also social gatherings of more than 10 people are still prohibited. As noted previously, the effective date was May 4th at 12:01 a.m., and currently there's not an end date. It will continue until rescinded, superseded, or amended. Moving on to the order to wear face coverings. They are to be worn indoors and outdoors when social distancing cannot be achieved. However, there are some exceptions. When you're driving alone or exclusively with other members of the same family or household, children younger than 2 years of age, and when an individual can show either that a medical professional has advised against it, it would create a risk related to their work, such as public safety, or if you have something like mechanics where they're working with rotational machinery that you wouldn't want it to get stuck. And then should not be used by anyone who has trouble breathing or is unconscious, incapacitated, or unable to remove the covering without assistance. So if anybody has questions, from business owners regarding the local public health order, there's a couple of resources. They can submit an email to this email address or call this designated number. Or if somebody has a question, if a business is in compliance, they can email this different email address and call this designated number. What we're really trying to do is avoid people calling our police dispatch centers with questions related to business compliance and complaints, and really direct them to these numbers. And then there's a whole flow chart that has been set up in terms of how these complaints will be addressed. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or we also have representatives of the police and fire department here tonight.
Commander Baker, I'd be interested to know how things are going for you folks. Yeah. Since Monday. Just briefly, it's just,
Yeah, we really have not received an abnormal increase in calls related to businesses being out of compliance and/or folks not wearing face coverings within the community. There hasn't been a marked noticeable difference.
all right, so calls for service related to the COVID-19 crisis is not, you haven't seen a spike or anything?
Specifically related to these issues, no.
Okay, good. What can we do to help you?
We're doing good.
All right,
Any other questions from any other council members?
all right. Thank you very much. Any comment, no other further comment? I know we have one public comment. Any others received?
None so far.
Okay, go ahead and read that.
All right. This is from Karen Hess of Yuba City. We failed on the first day of reopening. Sam's Club and Winco are not enforcing the requirement for customers to wear masks. These are large companies who should have the corporate expertise to comply with the complete requirements released on May 1st by both counties. When a friend asked these stores' managers why customers weren't following the mask requirements, he was told mask requirement only applied to employees. Dr. Liu's order was extremely clear on this with no ambiguity. I resent being called from the Midwest that Butte House Barber is on the NBC Nightly News with only one barber wearing a face mask with at least 5 people in what I know is a very small shop. This makes my city look like a bunch of buffoons. I have elderly tenants who watch the news and subscribe to the Peel Democrat. They didn't have a basic understanding of the May 4th opening. I had to print off the relevant documents from Be Prepared Sutter for them. He knew enough to have a mask, but that's it. I watched as residents in my apartment complex went in and out of their homes without even a face mask covering, pulled down below their chin so they could pull it up as they passed other residents on sidewalks, in the laundry room, or taking their dogs outside to the designated area for business to chat with other dog owners. Meanwhile, I'm at home frantically trying to help a small business get in compliance with Dr. Liu's order before reopening. We plan on following the rules, and we're scared that other local businesses not in compliance, we will be verbally attacked or worse at minimum, or lose customers because we're following the rules. I doubt that these businesses have a business protocol checklist complete and available for inspection. I have written to Governor Newsom asking him to shut us down. Go back to the drawing board. Educate and inform first. Self-certify for business isn't working. Require each business license to submit their certification in order to activate their business. Reel in the ones that are still coasting off their essential status and send inspectors out. Shut them down if they can't produce the protocol checklist in 2 minutes and/or demonstrate compliance. That is the only way they will learn. This pandemic is no joke. We cannot fail at this. I expect our local government to manage the public health and create a level playing field for businesses to operate and prosper. I also want overall compliance, so I'm not risking my life and limb when I stand at the front of the business and enforce the order and our protocols. And that's sincerely Karen Hess of Yuba City.
All right, thank you very much. I know we don't have anything further